How stupid is the decision to buy a two-door SUV these days? And not only that, but to pay a fortune for it. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. How much you have to pay to have this SUV with only two doors. It has a couple of problems that I consider serious, and I'm going to show them to you right away because that's what this video is about. To put things in context. However, I know that, in fact, many people are going to buy it and want to buy it because of a tiny little detail, and I'll talk to you about that later. But that first problem is that, of course, when you only have two doors on an SUV, when you start thinking about it, what's the reason why you would buy an SUV? It's because of the versatility and usefulness. They're more than just sports utility vehicles. Let's consider this. The door, even though it opens wide and gives you plenty of space to get in, to be able to get in, obviously you have to, since you don't have a door. I'm not discovering something new here. Not at all. You don't have to move the seat. They make it easy for you with a couple of buttons. Here, this slides and, let's say, it's not that complicated to get into the second row, but if you have, well, family, large people, this entrance here is not as practical and convenient as if you had four doors, right? Once you're here and settled, there's still a fair distance for your legs, so it's not very comfortable. Now, imagine trying to fit a child seat, a baby seat here, without the possibility of the two rear doors. It would be quite a challenge. This is the Defender 90s. The one that's shorter, with a shorter wheelbase, is about 26 inches shorter than the Defender 130. And that brings me to the next big problem it has. And that other major drawback is here in the rear. Because obviously, when you're talking about a truck that only has two doors and a shorter wheelbase, well, what do you sacrifice? Storage space, cargo space. Here we can see that it's very limited. But of course, you have the option to fold down the backrest of the second row. How do you do it? From here, you pull it down, and you do the same with this one. This is a 60-40 split. There you go. And it gives you that space with the backrest folded down. You get a bit more space, a little more versatility, but it's not like we're talking about a very generous space. I'm going to step back a little so you can see that the space is really very limited. And again, the reasons why people buy SUVs are to have a decent cargo space. And this one, to be precise, doesn't have it. And if you add the price to that, the bill for this Defender 90 Carpeting Edition 2024 is $118,000. It's truly a fortune. Like I said at the beginning of this video, $118,000. It only has two doors, difficult access, and limited cargo storage space. Which of those reasons is making you think twice or stopping you from buying it? Let me know in the comments. But there's a powerful reason, a big detail for which many people are going to buy it. And I'm going to talk to you about that. Let's lift the hood of this Defender to look at the heart and discuss it, as it's one of the main elements of this video. Talking about the engine and the experience that supercharged gives you, the first thing we see there, supercharged. The Rover is very covered, so lifting the hood itself is kind of symbolic, right? Because everything is really covered up. But anyway, there we can see the air intakes. Is this a 5.0 V8 or V8? That's a big detail. That must feel spectacular on the street, and that's where we're headed. I'll tell you the feeling it gives. 461 pound-feet of linear torque, quite a lot of torque, and it has 518 horsepower. It's in the 500 club, more than 500 horsepower. This is impressive, this machine, and it comes paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission from Zonrad Fabrics. That's very important, but even more important, I think, is going from theory to practice. First, how does it sound? Let's listen to it. It sounds really good, those crackles, but now let's go to the driving experience. What does it feel like to drive this V8 in a Land Rover Defender? Does that V8 feel spectacular? The answer is yes, especially when you drive it in a sporty way, the sensations on the road. And let's see if the microphone does it justice. That growl from the engine. That's when you realize that the person who buys this truck isn't stupid. They're not a fool, because they know exactly what they're buying. They couldn't care less that it has little trunk space, that it's uncomfortable to get in, or that it has only two doors. None of that matters when you've got the money to enjoy it. It's the feeling of driving a Land Rover and, above all, the fact that everyone looks at it wherever it goes. That's how good it feels. But another reason why people are going to buy this Defender 90 with everything it costs is the iconic design. We have a pretty boxy design, but it's a nice design because it draws attention. And I've had the chance to see it for myself. People look at it everywhere. What stands out about the design? The Defender here, prominent in high relief. Part of that complement is the black hood. In contrast, let's say, with the color, which is also one of those things that draws attention. And it's a special edition. That gray carpet is wrapped. It's a wrap that it has, so if you scratch it and take it off-road, the scratches themselves. This wrap is supposed to protect it so the scratches don't reach the body. I mean, the body of the car. It wouldn't get scratched because it has a protective layer. Moving on to the front part, it's iconic. Design. I really like the look of the front headlights, especially with that semicircular daytime running light, the DRLs, and also the LED projection light. It looks really good there, in all that very technological fitting. This also has a sprayer. Because it's meant for off-roading, it gets muddy, so you can wash those headlights. Front and below, there's also a fog light with LED projection. And here, functionality in the front part. A lot of functionality, let's say, a big air intake, helping with the airflow to that powerful engine, the V8. I also really like the Land Rover here. Below, you're going to have a skid plate, a protection plate, and a bit more functionality in this lower part, which I personally like. On the Land Rover Defender, we have a ground clearance of 9 inches from the side view. As I mentioned, this SUV is very popular. I really like it, and it's definitely attention-getting. That combination, let's say, of the glossy black on the upper part of the pillars, the mirrors together with this wrap they've put on, this matte gray cover, I think it gives it that premium SUV feel, like it's on another level, not your everyday look. It has its running board with the word Defender integrated right there. I really like that design too. The V8 looks really good, which obviously speaks to the powerful engine it has here. And here we have more functionality, an air intake, here on the Defender. Oh, well, the tires, these are all-terrain. These are Goodyear, 20-inch rims. And the suspension is an air suspension that handles road imperfections very well. Also, with these tires, you get good grip. I was able to confirm this, let's say, when driving it, and in the rear part, which is very characteristic of Land Rover, the tire. In the back, we have the horizontally opening door, recovery hooks, quadruple exhaust pipe, and this rear light cluster, the headlights are also square-shaped. Here you can see how well the whole rear set is complemented. With this shape of the Defender itself, it's something. Tell me, do you like it? But really, in terms of design, it's very good. Oh, and an important fact I hadn't mentioned about an SUV like this, with 2 doors. In the United States market, we only have 3 options: the Wrangler, the Ford Bronco, and this one, the Land Rover Defender. The 90 looks great design-wise, as I mentioned. They're not very practical, but they do have a market. Obviously, the Bronco and the Wrangler aren't going to have a price tag of almost $120,000 like this one. So you have some options to choose from. And I'm going to tell you about another detail that buyers really like. But first, if you're enjoying the video, give me a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it's important that you do. Why? Because it's not just to increase the number of subscribers, although that's appreciated as a bonus, but so that YouTube understands that you like the videos and keeps showing you the large inventory of videos I have. I have a large repertoire and will keep releasing more. I also offer special events and exclusive test drives like this. So, to make sure you don't miss out and so that YouTube knows you really like them, I invite you to subscribe. And if you can turn on the notification bell, even better. We're still moving forward, but we also have interior features buyers will love, like this Alcantara-wrapped steering wheel. It feels premium, like it's on another level. Look at the dashboard. It's also digital. Small, simple, but very modern. There's a digital screen here with a lot of features, and I'll tell you about those features in a moment. But before closing the door, also look at the beautiful premium design it has. The finishes, the bolts, the door, the panel, and with the Meridian sound system, it's really well put together. I really like that. Look, the digital screen is right there. The system has a good navigation feature. Let's check out the apps we have here. For example, you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Well, it would be impossible not to have that when you're paying over $118,000. We also have this air quality filter, which tells you how much pollution there is here. Inside this cabin, you can clean the air or keep it monitored. How good is the air quality here? The camera definition, well, it has several camera angles. You move it like this, and since it has good off-road capability, the functionality of the cameras themselves is really impressive. And, well, we have more information here. Look, weight sensing, this part here measures the depth of the water, in case you're going to do fording or go into a river. With this Land Rover, you have perfect capability, because it's a Land Rover designed to measure the depth. so you don't get stuck. That way you'll feel confident, and you have all your 4x4 information. Well, the settings. This is really one of the spectacular technology features when it comes to the central information section of this screen. Defender, I like this design here. It makes you want to grab on in case you're going to do some really aggressive off-roading. It has a head-up display, the mirror is also a camera monitor, and a huge panoramic sunroof. It's sliding. Look, there it is. Let's open it. Because as an option, you can get the soft top that folds back, kind of like the ones on the Wrangler. You can get it on this one too, but it's an option. And a couple more things about the center console. When you lift this up, you have a fridge that actually cools. I really like that feature. That's something other manufacturers should copy. Over here you have space, functionality, lots of USB ports, even a 12-volt port, and the unusual position of the gear lever. But I think it's ergonomic. It's right there within your reach. It doesn't look out of place, it doesn't look bad. I think it's fine. And here are your air conditioning controls, and it also has a combination of digital buttons here on the screen. You can also interact and adjust things here. For example, set the air conditioning, change the ventilation level, and adjust the radio volume. Regarding fuel consumption, if I hadn't mentioned it before, 17 miles per gallon is the average between highway and city driving. Obviously, having a V8, it's a bit of a gas guzzler here on the highway. In normal driving, let's say, the ride quality is smooth. It's good for everyday driving, but obviously when you switch to dynamic or sporty driving, that's when the sensations change and it definitely puts a smile on your face, because it's a joy to drive. Knowing the acceleration kick is there with instant response and all that V8 torque, what more could you want? 0 to 60 miles per hour, or 0 to 97 kilometers per hour in less than 5 seconds. Around 4.9 seconds, according to Land Rover. Well, really, right? And braking capability in an SUV that has a shorter wheelbase than the Land Rover. The Defender 130. I really like this because it's a very pleasant, very sporty driving dynamic in an SUV, which, I repeat, what the buyer is really purchasing are these sensations, regardless of the price and some inconveniences or discomfort it might bring. And the air suspension obviously also helps to make the ride quality quite good, let's say, on a perfectly paved road. Another detail I want to mention is that making a U-turn in a tight space is pretty easy with the Defender, because it has a very tight turning radius. Check this out. If I missed any video details, I'll add them in the description. Speaking of the description, if you want to buy a vehicle, be prepared at the dealer and keep quiet. It's the theme and title of my book, Keep Your Mouth Shut at the Dealer. Take a look at the description. There you'll find out how you can download it and what you need to do. So, would you buy an SUV like this one, the Land Rover Defender, with only 2 doors? With the drawbacks I mentioned. Do you have the bank account or enough cash in that bank account to pay for it? Because really, as I explained to you, the driving sensation, the experience. People who buy this SUV don't care if it has 2 doors or is inconvenient. They likely don't have a family, kids, or anyone riding in back. All they want is the feeling it gives. And for other things, well, they have another SUV, they have a Tahoe, they have a Yukon, they have an Explorer or a Navigator. What do I know? But they probably have another one for those purposes, or even a pickup. The person who buys it isn't worried about any of that. Let me know your opinion in the comments. If you like the Land Rover brand, over here. One of these 2 videos has to do with Land Rover, a truck that's amazing, but also has its challenges. I invite you to watch it. See you in the next video. Take care.